What's up, guys? How's everyone doing? Excuse me while we just have that awkward moment where I add a comment and pin it. How do I pin it again? Pin comment. Yes, that's pin. Okay, awesome. How's everyone doing? Great to see you guys. This is the second episode of my new Instagram live show, Let's Go Live with Sharon Carpenter. I'm super excited right now because we're about to go live in a few seconds with an old friend of mine. We both used to work at BET together, and now he's a bona fide Hollywood star. You know him from New Girl. That's my cat meowing in the background. She wants her 15 minutes of fame. You know him from New Girl. You know him from the new movie Bloodshot with Vin Diesel. And he is the star of the new Hulu series that's going to be coming out called Woke. So I hope you are woke about Lamorne Morris. And here he is right now. That's Chewy, by the way, in the background. He's a Bengal. He makes a lot of noise. Lamorne is... Lamorne!
Hey, hey!
Hey!
How are you?
Huh?
How are you?
I'm doing great. And I haven't seen your face in person like this probably since the hair and makeup room at BET.
I know.
I've seen you on television. I've seen you on the big screen at the movies. But it's good to see your face.
Oh,
and you're all grown up with a beard.
Well, this is that quarantine chic right here.
Oh, quarantine chic.
And
but
it's
I'm sure you
down.
could grow a beard like that 10 years ago.
You said you could grow a beard like that 10 years ago?
No, you couldn't grow a beard like that 10 years ago.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is all old age right here.
Well, looking good. I like the quarantine chic. How's quarantine going for you? Where are you? You in LA?
I'm in LA. It's going pretty good. You know, it's as good as it can be, I would say. We're hunkered down here in sunny Los Angeles. We got a nice backyard, so we spend most of our time back here. Nice. We grill. It's me and my brother. It's my homie here. We all just we got a nice setup going. So we write, we create, we spend most of our time working out or taking walks, going on runs. That's what we do for the most part. Yeah.
You have not slowed down at all, have you? You just put out a comedy album as well called, I love the name, The Morning After Pill.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a topic you know a lot about.
maybe a little bit.
One or two times.
No, I've never had to, you know what I mean? Never had to go there with it, in real life. Nah. Maybe you, I don't know, maybe you.
We're digging deep today. So I'm really excited because the first half of this show, we're doing what I like to call a 10 in 10. So it's 10 pressing questions in 10 minutes. You've got 10 minutes to answer these questions. Okay. Hopefully my cat meowing isn't going to distract you.
Nope.
And this is sort of a get to know you kind of an exercise where the viewers get to know you in a short amount of time. Okay. Revealing yet fun questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
For your 10 in 10? And you guys, wherever you guys are at home or wherever, if you can keep an eye on the time, that would be really helpful. But it's 5:34 right now, 10 minutes. Let's go with the first one. Complete this sentence, Lamorne. I give the best blank. I told you we're getting in deep tonight.
I give the best, I give the best advice.
The best advice. I like that for a family show.
Yep, family show. What were you? Where is your head? Where were you going with this?
I wasn't going anywhere. I was just a little concerned about yours, but I was like, let's just go for it anyway and see what happens. All right, the best advice. I like that. You can give us some advice later. My answer to this one is actually you. But what was the last thing that you Googled?
The last thing I Googled, I want to say, was so there's this British parody rapper. He goes on this. His name is Unknown P.
Okay, he's British.
British. He's so funny. He's so funny. I saw this clip of him on Instagram, and it was a real short snippet. And I was like, yo, it was a parody of how British rappers are in the booth when they're freestyling. and he was so spot on. I'm sure there's a fire truck driving past my house or something. He was so spot on that I had to Google the lyrics and find the whole video. His name is Unknown P. Look this dude up. He's absolutely hysterical. And I think it's an old video. It's about a year old. So I'm late to the party. But
I'm obviously really late too because I haven't seen it. Can you do a quick impression? How are we on time? Okay.
Riding round in a rover. Something like that. I forget what he was saying. He was like, he was going in, and he goes, he's like, doing up tennis. Man, I'm Dennis the Menace. I was like, that. I have no idea what the dude is saying, but let me tell you, she was hysterical.
You know a thing or two about British accents. We'll talk about that again in a second. Number 3, if you could do a love scene with any star you like, who would it be?
Besides
and
you?
Why?
Besides you?
Besides me. Okay. I'm X'd out of this one. This is
Zoe
tricky,
Kravitz.
By the way.
Zoe Kravitz, and it's not even close.
Zoe Kravitz, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Zoe a good one. Have you done a love scene before?
I have. On Woke, I'm often naked on the show.
Really? Do you have any boundaries? Like, I refuse to do blank.
Don't show my butthole. How about that? Like, I don't want. I'm not bending over on camera. Just everything else is fair game, I guess. If it's done well,
Anything else goes as long as it's done in a classy way, I guess. Okay, so this is a good one. Which of your former or present co-stars would you most and least like to quarantine with? And by the way, I interviewed Uktash last week.
I know.
Did you watch that?
Right before I got on with you, I was speaking with him.
Your name came up a couple of times.
I
won't say in which capacity, whether it was most or least. I don't want to ruin a good bromance.
I would least like to be quarantined with Utkarsh. No.
I should have given you that one, yeah.
Actually, it's probably he'd be up there. He'd be up there with like most. Him, Damon Wayans Jr. Okay. Hannah Simone's dope. I feel like maybe because Hannah likes to cook, so I would like I want to say probably maybe her.
Definitely handy to have a chef around.
I know. Now Regina Hall also cooks a lot, and she doesn't live far from me.
Who's the better cook?
I don't know. I have no idea. I really don't know.
You just don't want to say.
I feel like I'm forgetting somebody that's very like important here that I'm gonna be like, damn, I wish I was quarantined with that person. I'm gonna least I would probably say least would be Billy Magnuson because he farts a lot. Like,
gosh.
Yeah, Billy makes himself at home. You know what I mean? Billy just takes his shirt off and barefoot walking around, shoot up. And he's a fun dude. Like he would definitely be the entertainment because he sets a lot of stuff up. He likes playing games and board games and organizing this and organizing that. But then he'll just clear a room. He'll just, just like, damn, Billy didn't.
Seconds later, the room.
Yeah, like we were doing well, man. We were doing so well. So I'd probably. Maybe Hannah, Damon, maybe least Billy, probably. Actually, least Damon. Least Damon?
Oh, that switched quickly.
I switched it quick because Damon is going to be drawing anime characters the whole time and asking me to look at it. Like, he likes to draw these little figurines and, what do you think about this? And like, I don't think about that. I don't think about that at all.
Get those anime characters out of my face.
Yes.
Let's talk New Girl for a second. There have been some incredible guest stars on there, from Prince to Jamie Lee Curtis to Megan Fox. Which New Girl guest star made you most nervous on set, and how did you calm your nerves?
Prince definitely made me more nervous. I mean, that's not even.
I'm not surprised.
It's not even close.
What was the exchange like with you guys?
First of all, he showed up a little early to set, and he showed up like 30 deep.
Wow.
With like a bunch of people dressed like Captain Crunch. They had like all these zippers and tassels and shiny shoes, and everybody looked so stylish. And he was so quiet. And then we had about 200 extras on set, and he shows up and he's so chill and he's so quiet. So when he speaks, you have to really like lean in to listen. because he doesn't raise his voice at all.
Yeah.
And he was dope. We had a scene where we had to replace a couple of actors, and so he said, let's replace them with people that I brought with me.
Okay.
And and,
Okay.
and then he goes there
Can
was
they
a
act?
well that's the thing, they hadn't acted before.
Oh.
And so there was a scene where they're supposed to come down and look surprised, and then he goes, hey Lamorne, can you come here for a second? I like walk over there, I'm super nervous, and he goes, can you show her how to look surprised? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. He's like, yeah, just teach her how to look surprised, because she's like rehearsing and it doesn't look great. It's like, I feel like you could show her how to do it. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's go over there. And he goes, no, do it right here. And he sits down and wants to watch me teach her how to act.
Oh my goodness.
And I was so nervous because at this point now, this man is just used to greatness. I mean, it's Prince. So now I'm sitting here struggling with this, like, do I ham it up? Do I act goofy to impress him? Do I do a bit to make him laugh? Or do I genuinely teach her how to act surprised? You know, so
Wow.
I went with the genuine part.
You did.
I went with the genuine part. Like she walks up and before she gets to, like, we're sitting on this, he's sitting on the couch and we're in like this big open area, and she walks up and she's like, so she's like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna walk down, and I just go, bah! And I just screamed at her really loud, and she jumped like she like lost her soul, and I was like, and that's how you act surprised. Like the same thing you did right there.
Do it.
Just do it. I was like,
very
just
clever.
That same reaction, just go with that, and it worked out well. It worked out well. That woman is now known as Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep.
That was Meryl Streep.
Oh, I met Meryl Streep once.
Did you really?
She was amazing. Yeah. She gave me a hug, actually. She was hugging me throughout the whole interview, which was really nice and sweet. Let's keep it moving because I'm worried about the time here. Okay, now you're in Bloodshot, the new movie with Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Tell me the wildest moment that happened with Vin Diesel while filming. And I don't mean Pussycat wild. I mean like lion, tiger kind of wild. Like all the way wild.
All the way wild. That's hard to say because on a set you don't get wild moments like that unless it's like stuff that right. It's either written in or it does get wild and it's highly talked about or publicized. Or like, did you hear like when Christian Bale yelled at the lighting guy or the DP, or I forget who was yelling at on set when he's screaming, "Get out of my damn light!" and he's doing all that stuff. Vin is so chill that even if there is a disagreement, you won't know it because he's quietly talking about it. You know, he's like, he'll pull the director to the side, he'll pull me to the side. We'll talk it out. We'll talk stuff out. But he did do something that was a little. It wasn't okay. So I'm hesitant about telling the story because I don't know how it's going to come off, and I don't want to. I'll just tell the story.
Just tell us anyway. Yeah.
This just happened.
Yeah.
In South Africa, the racial divide is very. You can feel it. You know what I mean? It's interesting. It's like it's. I wasn't used to it. America is still a very racist place in certain areas, and the systemic racism is, you can feel that here as well. You can see it everywhere you go. But over there, it was just like this organized way of living. And I remember working on the movie, and we had the transpo guys or something. I forget who it was. They were moving stuff off of a truck. And they were all, it was hot. It was really, really hot out. And they're all like dark-skinned black dudes. But the white guys were chilling. And I just remember Vin walking up and he's looking and he goes, and he was so pissed at this sight. I'm not going to say what he said, but
give us a roundabout paraphrase.
Look at how how they're treating black people. Okay. They're treating them like blank. And wow. And he went off. he put his foot down and was like, this ain't happening on my set. He's like, if one person's working, we all working. You're not gonna sit here and watch them do all this stuff while they're literally busting their asses while you guys are just sitting down there smoking a cigarette watching them. We're trying to get the next shot and you guys are chilling. And he sent somebody over to like have a little talk in their ear, and these guys jump to it, and then Vin just goes, we all work. He goes, we all work.
Yeah.
And that I really took my hat off to him for that, because I didn't even clock that. I clocked it everywhere else I went in South Africa, but I didn't clock it on the set. And I saw that. I was like, man, that's kind of crazy.
Wow.
Now, not to say that,
speaking up.
yeah, and not to say that was exactly what was going on, but the optics just didn't look right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And because that wouldn't happen in a lot of places, and I'm not 100% sure they knew that was their intention.
Yeah.
But he just didn't like the optics of it and was like, no, not here.
Yeah. Good story.
Yeah.
I think we're over our 10 minutes, but that's okay. Let's finish off this 10 for 10. You failed at the challenge, but that's all right.
Well, you started talking about Meryl Streep and her hugging you too hard and all that stuff.
I know, I'm partially to blame. Okay, tell me the worst pickup line you've ever used that actually worked.
Because I've heard some pretty bad ones and they worked.
On you?
I don't use pickup lines. I'll be honest with you. I don't use pickup lines. I just show up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I present myself.
You just show up and the deal is sealed.
I present myself, okay? I like to talk low about myself so the expectations are down here, and then when it comes down to it, I seem excellent. No, I'm not a pickup line guy. Okay. I'm actually, what's so funny, I'm actually pretty shy in the in-person interactions.
Yeah?
And I think that could be my pickup line. Yeah, when it comes to, I'm like, I'm just super, I've friend zoned myself so many times. I don't.
Oh no, you're frozen in the friend zone.
Yeah, I don't flirt, man. I don't do it. I don't do it. Look, Karsh's talking trash this wallpaper is actually.
I saw somebody saying something about flirt.
See, look, Karsh just wrote this wallpaper is from Kohl's. Look, Karsh, this wallpaper is actually pretty X-rated, and I can't have you focus in on the wallpaper and what's actually in the images.
Really? I like that wallpaper.
Have you been to the Soho House bathroom? In West
LA?
Hollywood. Yes, the main level.
I think so. No, I've been to the one downstairs.
Yeah, the one downstairs. I mean, the one downstairs, yeah.
Okay.
That's what this wallpaper is from. I'll let you look that up on your own, but I'm not going to.
I'm going to look it up. X-rated wallpaper.
It is, but it's artsy. You can't tell. It looks like fall, and I like fall, so I got it, and then
I like it.
What it was afterwards.
It's very artsy, and my cat is about to make my picture come crashing down. Okay, let's keep it moving. Hot topic question.
Yes.
Okay, this is a hot topic right now. Should Khloe Kardashian forget the cheating and get back with Tristan Thompson? There have been all these rumors that she's pregnant by him, and now she's come out and said, no, it's not true. But what's your take on cheating? Should it be forgiven?
I think
if you love someone.
I think anything can be forgiven.
Yeah.
Your relationship tells the tale if it can be if it will be forgiven, or if it can be forgiven, or should be forgiven, I should say. So, for example, I have a friend who was giving me relationship advice. I was dealing with something similar a little bit ago, and I was getting relationship advice from someone, and she said, "You don't love the same. You don't love equally. So just because." Like maybe Tristan can't handle her cheating, but she can handle him cheating, for example. So maybe if I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain it. Just because I don't want to go outside today doesn't mean you can't go outside today. You know what I mean? So what might be right for you may not be right for that person in the relationship. Everything isn't equal in a relationship. So maybe, I don't know what the relationship is like, so maybe he has a longer leash. Maybe he has a long leash where I'm sure he's cheated before. I think we've all seen the footage and all this other stuff of like Like,
and the Jordan Woods situation.
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, so clearly he's done this before, and clearly she said, okay, you can come back at
Yeah.
some point. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's how their relationship goes, and I it's hard to speak on their relationship because I'll be honest with you, I don't know what's real or fake when you're dealing with reality TV stars.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I have no clue what's real or fake. Like, this could all be publicity for the next season of Quarantining with the Kardashians. You know, like,
True.
yeah. So I'm like,
But is it once a cheater, always a cheater?
no, I don't believe that.
Okay.
I don't believe that because cheating can also be done due to circumstance. You know what I mean? Like, you could be in a situation where you're genuinely not getting what you need from a situation, and you're desperate, and you're just, something happens where you mess up, and people can cheat one time. I truly believe that. It does make it harder for a person to trust you if you do it, but also feel like it can make the relationship stronger once you do trust that person again. Because if you can trust a person after they've cheated, then that's a sign of a strong, that's a sign of either a strong relationship or a stupid person. It's one of the two. It's one of the two.
True.
You either got a real good thing or you're just dumb for thinking this ain't gonna happen again.
Yeah, yeah. You give great advice, as you said earlier. It's true.
Yeah. So if you ever need advice, let me know.
I'll be calling you. Okay, question 9, just 2 left, and we're way over our 10 minutes, but that's all right. What's the most regrettable thing you've ever done to get ahead in your career? What's the most savage thing?
Oh,
Are you a savage?
To get ahead in my career?
Get ahead, or well, whether it's career or whether it's personal.
I don't do anything savage to in that manner. This is not me trying to be. This is not me trying to
Mr.
be.
Nice guy.
Yeah, it's not at all, because I can be aggressive when I need to in life, and just in a positive way. When I got on New Girl, for example, I had 15 auditions for that show. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
15 auditions, and the most aggressive thing I did was have the other actor that was reading for my final read go in before me, so I could hear his audition.
Oh, okay. So how did you figure that out? You asked him to go in before you?
Well, I had already been through the process. This was my 15th audition. This is one of his first. He like 1 or 2, so he was the last addition to the show because he's a phenomenal actor. So it was like, oh, if we have an opportunity to get this guy, let's read him, let's get him, whatever. So I'm feeling insecure at this moment, like, damn it, this is my shot to get on the series, and
that's pressure. Like,
so much pressure. So then I got there early, and they said, hey, you want to go first or second? And I was like, second, absolutely. I looked at it like a stand-up comedy show. Somebody goes and they warm up for you. Yeah. But he is such a great actor that I had to like hear what, you know what I mean? Like, which parts.
Because then you bring even more, like, you see what you're dealing with, and then you take it up a notch. That sort of thing.
Yeah, you know what works and what doesn't, because we are practically the same type of performer. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he's more charming than I am. He has all these other qualities that I didn't have at that moment, that I was like, why don't they just give him the part? But then listening to his read, I was like, oh, okay, if he did this, I'll do that. If he did that, I'll do this. I'm just going to go completely different from him. Because if I do the same that he did, there's a chance that he books it over me based off of a lot of other variables. You know what I mean? So I said, I just got to do something completely left. And that's it. Also, I want to say, before I look at the comments, I hate King Batch, by the way. I hate him so much. King Batch. I hate King Batch.
Oh.
He's my. I hate him.
Love between you guys, obviously.
No, that's my brother. That's my brother. So, yeah.
Wow. So I wanna afterwards I wanna ask you about that feeling when you got the call. But just let's wrap up the 10 in 10. 10 in 30, we'll call it now. Now, the highest grossing movies adjusted for inflation are Gone with the Wind, Avatar, Titanic, and the original Star Wars, right? Adjusted for inflation. If you could have starred in one of those, which one would it be, and who would you have played? Gone with the Wind, Avatar, Star Wars, Titanic.
Titanic. Like, I would have been a dude on the boat, like right before them, right before they got on the boat to go. I would have been like, "Bye, y'all." That's it. Just that first line, like,
You'd
I'm
be
not
on
getting on the
land
boat.
waving goodbye.
Yeah, I ain't getting on no damn boat. I can't even swim.
You wouldn't be Jack.
No, absolutely not.
I think you'd make your way onto that door with Kate Winslet.
Now look, obviously these movies did well. Obviously these people made a ton of money. Yeah. Now, if I'm thinking financially, yeah, I go and play that character. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, Leo's pretty dreamy. Maybe I play the Kate Winslet character. You know what I mean? Maybe I'd play her. But I just you know, like,
nailed it. You would have nailed it.
Yeah. You see me with a wig on? Oh my God, I'm beautiful. I am gorgeous.
I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. You nailed this. That was the 10 and 30. Well done. So let's get
partly your fault, though, I will say. Partly your fault.
My fault. No, your stories were too good. Otherwise, I would have rushed you through, but your stories were too good.
Thank you for saying
so. I was like, we need to let this man speak. All right. So let's go back. Let's go back to BET days, because that's when you and I first met. And for me, BET was sort of a great launching pad and a training ground as well. What are some of the most memorable moments from those days?
From
if
BET
I remember
days.
Rightly, didn't you get up on stage in front of a bunch of advertisers, like hundreds of people, and drop your pants?
I did. I wanted them to know what they were investing in. And not only investing in me, also this. No. I got advice from Reginald Hudlin to do something weird on stage. This is my first introduction to television. It's my first introduction to mass of people, you know, watching whatever it is I was going to do. And so he said, "Why don't you do something?" He was like, and he pitched a dumb bit. He was like, "Go out and fall or something." He's like, "I don't know. You're the comedian. You figure it out." So people at Upfronts, they usually walk out. And what she's talking about, everybody, is something called Upfronts. It's this thing where the advertisers come and they, you know, talk and have fun and party, and they see what's going to happen and all this stuff like that. So, and all these networks have it. And they introduce characters from TV shows. They introduce TV hosts from shows. Pretty much who's going to be on camera are like high lit throughout this weekend or whatever. And I go on stage, and everyone usually is dressed up in a suit, dress, you know, something upscale. And I had a suit on, so right before I went on stage, I took my pants off. And had the blazer and everything on, I had my pants around my shoulder. And then Reggie went right along with the bit. As soon as I walked out, he goes, "Hey, Lamorne, nice socks." And I just said, "My eyes are up here, Reggie. Eyes are up here." So that was it. Yeah. I enjoyed my time at BET. There were some hiccups and some hurdles, but I definitely enjoyed my time. I enjoyed the people that I work with more than anything. The people more than the experience. The people, still to this day, some of my lifelong friends, you know, people who worked in the office, or whether it be on-air personalities, you know, everyone, we're all still really, really tight. It's like everyone, for the most part, is out here in LA. Someone's still in New York or in Atlanta. But, you know, for the most part, like, we're all still pretty close. So like, Alicia Renee's like my sister, and Kay, and all like DeMarcus, all these people, Terrence, Roxy, they're all like, we're all, you know, family.
Yeah, some really awesome people working over there. Your next step, from what I remember, after you left BET, you were suddenly on every single TV commercial out there.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You were the must-have guy for every brand in every TV commercial. Tell me how that came about, and then how big of a stepping stone was that in becoming a Hollywood star?
It started out of necessity, to be honest with you. When I moved to LA, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the ideal situation that I thought it would be. You know, you move to LA blindly, you're in for a rude awakening. You know, I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any money. I went broke. I was in my car at one point. I was, you know, I would walk down the streets. This is not a joke. I walk down the streets like an old man, just, you know, like I'm observing life, just catching some sun rays. But what I was really doing was looking on the ground for change. to like buy food.
Really?
Yeah, I would walk
Wow.
every day. I'd walk miles, and you'd find a lot of I'd find at least like $10 and change, on a walk. So I'm like, that's paying for me to eat every day, ramen noodles and
Yeah, yeah.
so
Good old ramen will always
good
be
old
good.
ramen. And I remember my car being repoed, and so I had to start taking the bus and the train to auditions. And I lived in North Hollywood, and I had to take public transportation all the way to Santa Monica, which is a 3-hour commute. So
Wow.
just to get in there and go, ooh,
Crazy.
this Snickers tastes great, thank you, and then leave, get right back on the bus, go all the way
Yeah.
back. So one time I'm running late for an audition, and a friend of mine gave me a ride. I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm running. I get there, they're waiting for me. They asked me if I read the material, and I lied and said, yeah. I hadn't read it.
You hadn't seen it.
I hadn't seen it, and I got in the room, and I was lucky because they had this big whiteboard with the the lines on it. And so I was like, okay, cool. Maybe I can like sneak it a little bit and like, it's gonna be a bad audition. I was like, this is gonna be a terrible audition. And
Yeah.
and I just started making stuff up. I started improvising a lot. And then they booked me right there in the room for it, and they loved it.
That's amazing.
And then that became the thing where I started realizing you have to play to your strengths. And my strength at the time was improv. I have a
Yeah.
Second City background, UCB. These are like legendary comedy places, and I love performing. I was doing a lot of live shows. So I just did that. I went in and improvised. They booked me, and then I just kept doing it. Every audition, I would read the script a little bit and then just wing it. A commercial is 30 seconds to a minute long. So it's not like you have to improvise an entire film.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're improvising a little bit, be funny, do whatever you got to do.
You put yourself into it. You put yourself out there. Yeah.
A lot of times a lot of actors don't know is casting directors, producers, they don't always know what they want when they're casting. They're looking for you to bring what you think is funny, or what you think works in that scene. So that's what I did. And that's kind of how I lived my life ever since. And because of that, I just started booking a ton of commercials. That same week, I was on the bus for another audition, or prior to this situation, and someone said, hey, can I get a picture with you? And I was like, oh, because it'd been a while since someone had asked me for a photo.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah.
Oh man. I was like, yeah, sure. And then her boyfriend, or whoever was next to her, goes, that ain't him, stupid. Why would he be on the bus? And I got so low. I was like, man, so that's what it's like to just disappear. I felt like I tasted a little bit of success with BET.
Yeah.
And then I thought I had it figured out. I was like, I moved to LA and get it going. And then it took a couple years to really, hit the ground running. And then once that happened on the bus, I like my whole mind switched. Like I stopped hanging out. I was like, I'm not going to my friend's apartment to drink or kick it or do this. I was like, I'm writing, I'm sitting in front of the computer, I'm reading audition material, I'm looking at, I'm watching a million movies, shows, who are my favorite actors, who do I want to perform like, who do I most relate to, I started doing that type of homework and just putting myself in the mindset of somebody who's already successful. And
so it let you drive you instead of bring you down. You felt down for a while, you're like,
yeah, it brought me down definitely for that day.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I was in a dark place that day. Like I just thought like, oh, this is what it's like to like be one of those people that just can't quite mentally figure it out. And I never thought that would be me, but it was for a couple of years. And then you snap yourself out of it. You got good friends around you who are all driven. Like LA is filled with people who are working or trying to work. So if you surround yourself with a nice circle of people who are just as motivated as you are, or more motivated than you are, it's just going to start to turn around.
Yeah. And there's a certain amount of study that goes into this as well. Like you said, you just completely focused. It wasn't about hanging out or watching TV. If you're watching TV, I'm sure it was for research. But that's an important part of this as well. It's not just, oh, I can act.
Right.
You really have to study this craft.
Absolutely. And I applaud the people that live in class. Like I have friends who right now are taking Zoom classes because, everything's
Zoom.
shut down. They're on
Oh,
Zoom,
oh, Zoom acting classes.
Zoom
Okay.
acting classes.
Yeah.
They're any way they can. They're getting coached over FaceTime. They're submitting self-tapes. I have
Yeah.
friends who submit, they don't even submit self-tapes. They make self-tapes of other people's auditions just to say they did it, just to get the rhythm, just to get the practice. You
Yeah.
know, that's a part of studying, that you
Yeah.
don't need a teacher to help you study all the time. You can
Yeah.
study
Yeah.
on your own, you watch the greats, just repetition, repetition, repetition.
Yeah.
You'll get it, yeah.
It's a good work ethic, great work ethic. Let's talk New Girl
Hmm.
and Winston, who is such a beloved character. The show, obviously absolutely massive. You were on there for 7 seasons. The show
Hmm.
ended in 2018. I can only imagine is it like sort of losing a best friend? Because you're performing as Winston again and again and again and again for 7 seasons, and now he's not around. How much do you miss him? Because
A
we
little
miss him.
bit. I mean, I for a while I didn't. For a while, I'll be honest with you. For a while, I was just like, I'm anxious and excited to try something new,
Yeah.
try something different. The cool thing about my character was that they wrote him in such a crazy way that every episode felt like a new project, because it was like, oh, now I have all these weird quirks and traits. You get to the table read and it's like, oh, Winston has a cat now. So now I'm like, I'm a cat person. I'm like, Winston, he's a professional basketball player who actually wasn't that good at basketball, but then, he's a cop, and then he's a babysitter, and then he's a father. So it's all these really cool moments that the character goes through.
Yeah.
It felt like my background in sketch comedy. I felt like I was playing a different character every episode. So I definitely miss that. I miss the freedom on the show.
Yeah.
Everybody on that show is a phenomenal, phenomenal actor. Every guest star, every co-star, they casted the show brilliantly. Um, Zoe on down to
Yeah.
people with one line that come on the show. I mean,
Are you
there's a
guys still close?
yeah,
The
we
stars,
text
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
We're in group chats. We communicate as much as we can. Yeah, everybody has families now,
Yeah.
so people are you know busy, but we still stay in touch for everything. I seek advice on every job I do. Before I do it, I ask Damon, Max, and Jake, like, hey, what do you guys think about this? Like, what do you?
That's your crew right there.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
just we text about, again, the dumbest stuff. It's advice. It's weird photos that Damon looks at. It's all kinds of stuff like
Weird
that.
photos.
Huh? What do you mean?
Weird photos, you said.
What do you mean?
Oh, you said it's weird photos of something.
I said what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You said something about we text and swap weird photos. Did you say that?
Never
Or
heard.
did I? You didn't say
Never heard of
that.
that. Never heard of that.
I
I do not know to what you are
wanted to know
referring.
what kind of weird photos you guys are texting, but
It's mainly like Photoshop photos of me. And
oh, okay.
no, they're yeah. It's just stupid stuff.
Okay,
Let's just put it that way.
okay. You'll have to send me some of those later. Um, let's talk about the movie
I just want everybody to know
Bloodshot.
what you just said. You literally just asked me to send you nudes, and you said it
Oh,
over.
those. No, you said you were swapping these with your boys.
Hey, you gotta chill. You gotta chill. Everybody's watching.
Wait, are you sending nudes to your boys to get their opinion?
Yeah, on what I look like. Like before I send a butt photo, before I go in the mirror and try to get the right angle, I send it to the
No,
guys. Of
you
course,
do. No, you don't.
I send it to my bros. I got it. Come on, man. My bros know the best angles.
Yeah, you better be friends with them for life, because otherwise, it might be a blackmail photo right there. All right, now let's talk about the movie
Mm-hmm.
Bloodshot. It just came out a week or so before quarantine measures were in place, right? How has that impacted the film, and how have you as a cast member sort of navigated through this situation? I know it's on demand now. Wasn't it like the most watched movie on Amazon Prime?
Yeah, it was pretty big. I mean, it
Yeah.
still is. It's still doing really well right now. We didn't man, we didn't get the theatrical release that we wanted. We were in the theaters for a couple days, and then they closed all the theaters. And you know, our biggest, I want to say most of our money was going to come from China at the time. They shut their theaters down first, so we didn't have a Chinese release, which would have been great because I'd never been. I want to go. Like, I was looking
Yeah.
forward to the premiere there. I was so excited about it. So for me, when these things happen, like when you have a movie premiere, I'm excited about the fans seeing it for the first time and getting their reaction. So I still got an opportunity to have that feeling based, you know, because it's still online. Everyone's at home.
Yeah. So everyone tweeting about it and
Yeah.
hitting you,
So
I'm sure, in the DMs.
yeah, getting, you know, I
Yeah.
mean, you know, it's public. Nobody DMs me.
Like
Nobody
those
DMs me.
photos. Yeah.
Uh, but no, like it's it's not ideal, obviously, but thanks to technology, we still have a way for people to see it and embrace the film. It was a difficult film to shoot. You know, we shot it in so many locations. We shot it in Africa. We shot it in London, Montreal. We were, you know, all over the place. So, you
Wow.
know, I just really wanted the fans to get that big experience because it's nothing like watching movies in the theater. I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of just the theater experience. It's so classic. It's so timeless.
Yeah.
I would watch anything in a movie theater. Like
Really.
I'd watch the Kardashians in a movie. I'd watch if you said, "Oh, they do it," I'd be like, "Yeah, it's in a movie theater, like nice seats and popcorn." Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll sit there and watch whatever this stuff is.
You like that sort of community, like social experience
Yeah,
while
you
you're
know.
watching?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and laughter is contagious. You know,
Yeah.
I think entertainment is contagious. If you see someone having a good time, you're gonna have a good time. And I
Yeah.
think when someone's laughing behind you, it gives you the, you know, you can laugh. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, it is funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
Like,
is kind of funny. Yeah.
yeah. So that it's almost like it's almost like stand-up comedians. Stand-up comedians are funny,
Hmm.
obviously, but I'd rather go watch Chappelle live than watch him on TV. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Watching him on TV
Yeah.
is great. If you watch his special, it's brilliant.
I just
But
watched it, yeah, two
yeah,
days ago. The
it's
second
he's
one.
the greatest of all time. So,
Yeah.
but I'd rather like watching LeBron play live is how you're supposed to
Yeah.
watch LeBron. You know, watching on TV is great, but like you got to be at Staples. You know,
Yeah.
so that's kind of how I felt about this movie. You know, I felt like
Yeah.
you're not watching it live while it's on set because that's not how it works. It's not a theater production, but you go there, you see this big thing, and you know, but we've come to terms with it, and like I said, it's doing well, so I'm okay. You know, I'm okay with the release.
And who knew you could do a British accent?
I didn't.
Well, I realized earlier as well from the imitation of the
I did
rapper.
Ron and the
But
robot.
was that hard to get the accent down? Did you study anyone in particular? Hugh Grant, maybe? He
Yeah.
seems to be the go-to for everybody.
No, well, originally it was such a short period of time from the time I got the role to when we had to shoot. So I put together a tape and I just did a version of one, a mock version of one. Like an amalgam of every British accent I've ever heard. I put them together, and then I'm sure it was
Including
dog shit,
mine.
including yours. You're the first Brit
That
I've
was
ever.
top of mind, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was doing Sharon Carpenter. That was exactly what I was doing.
I
No, but
thought so.
yeah, but I'm sure it was dog shit. My accent in the audition. So then what I had to do was get coached. I had to get coaching, and I had to study a lot of actors that I admire. Damson Idris is somebody who he's so good. You know, he is so good. So if you guys aren't familiar with Damson Idris, Snowfall, he's the main character. He's brilliant, and he's a Brit. And so I just watched a lot of his YouTube videos, some of his interviews, and I knew that and Daniel Kaluuya and Idris. Obviously, I was just trying to figure out
Yeah.
which region they were from.
Yeah.
You know, when they do certain movies, are they switching the accent up, or are they doing their original accent, so I'd have to go back to their interviews. And then I just tried to infuse a little bit. I knew I was doing comedy, and those guys don't do comedy like that. So I was like, Ricky Gervais. So I looked
Yeah.
up a lot of him, and
Love him.
yeah, and just felt where he would use inflections. I was like, oh, so because British humor is a lot different from, you know, American humor. So I'd be improvising American jokes in a British accent, and the dialect coach would go, no, you wouldn't say that. You would say it like this, you
It's
know.
a
So
drier sense of humor, isn't
yeah,
it?
100%.
British sense of humor. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
It's the joke where you hear it and you have to think for a couple of minutes and then you laugh.
Yeah, exactly. And it's my favorite humor. I love British TV. I love some of my favorite
Top
shows
Boy.
are British TV. Love Top Boy.
I love
Are you
Top Boy
kidding me?
too.
I love Top Boy. End of the fucking world. Have you ever seen that show?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's on. Can I swear? Sorry. It's on Netflix.
Well, you have been, so go for it.
Sorry.
You've been saying a lot of stuff today.
I apologize, but you're prompting it though.
A lot of
You're prompting
X-rated
it.
conversation going on here.
Oh.
But
oh, look! I just got a DM
wait, is
from.
that a movie, End of the World?
I just got a DM from Sharon Carpenter. Oh no!
My hands are here. My hands are here, guys.
No, it's a series. It's a series.
Okay.
They have 2 seasons on Netflix. So if do yourselves a favor and go check that show out. It is brilliant. Yeah.
There was a movie, something about the end of the world, with James Franco in it, but that was
yeah. This is the end.
That was funny.
This is the end.
This is different.
Yeah, this is a lot different. Good.
I want to talk about your new project, which is huge, on Hulu.
Yes.
Called Woke. You are the lead actor here. It's your starring role. Tell me everything you know so far.
So the show is
stuff we're not supposed to know.
Well, we're being released. We're coming out in August.
Oh, you are? Great.
Yes, the cast is amazing. We've got Rose McIver from iZombie. We got Blake Anderson from Workaholics. T. Murph, one of the funniest comedians. If you don't know him after the show, you will. You'd be selling out Madison Square Garden. This guy is so funny. We got Cedric the Entertainer, Cat Williams, Eddie Griffin, Nicole Byers, Tony Hale, Sam Richardson. The cast is sick. You know, the cast it's pretty dope. So the show essentially is about a guy named Keith Knight. He's a cartoonist. You know, based out of San Francisco, and it's about his life in a weird way. So he's one of those. He's a black guy who people don't, when they hear him or they see his work, they hear his voice, they go, "Oh, you don't sound like a black guy." And so that I've been getting that my whole life, you know. So I don't fit the stereotype sometimes of what people would associate black with. So you hear it often. So the show essentially is about his life and how one day something that happens to him brokenness, if you will. But while that's happening, animated things are talking to him. So he's essentially going crazy.
Because it's live action and animation in one, a hybrid. Yeah,
it's just like this, and all of a sudden a thing will pop up and start talking to me, or the wallpaper will come to life and start speaking. And
yours is about to, by the looks of things.
Oh, 100%. Look like my DMs. So that's what the show is about essentially, and it's just about one guy. Like, what do you do with this power that you have to change the world? Do you embrace the crazy and go for it, or do you hide that crazy and not make a difference? So that's what the show's about, and I think everybody has that in them. You know what I mean? To speak up. Sometimes when you feel like if there's injustice, or if you see something you don't like, you don't want to come off as crazy, or if you have an idea for something, people are bashful or a little shy, or no, speak up. Like, every opinion matters. You know, whether even politically, whether you're right, whether you're left, no matter what it is. If you have a conviction on something, if you truly believe that, like, that's supposed to be what this country is about. So go ahead and speak on up, and that's what the show is about. Yeah.
Wow. No, it sounds amazing. I can't wait to watch it. Being the lead on this show, do you have a different approach at all? Does it feel different? Do you approach things differently?
I do. I find myself treating it more like school a little bit, where when on New Girl, I would just show up. Like I would wake out. I sometimes I wouldn't even shower. I had a shower in my trailer, so my call time was, literally, I'd be out the night before sometimes. Like, like I would roll out of bed, hop in my car, drive to set with flip flops on, some shorts, no underwear, just as bummy as I want to be, because they're gonna put me in costume anyway. I don't have to have my script because we improvise a lot. We figure stuff out. We're a squad, so we can come together and we're in a rhythm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, more of a relaxed kind of environment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But when you're the lead of a show, and you behave that way and the show doesn't work, your behavior probably had a lot to do with it. Meaning, you can't go out the night before. You gotta focus. You gotta make sure you get enough sleep. You gotta keep your script on you. You gotta make sure our show, we were all like that first season, and Zoe was like that throughout the whole series. She was very much so like on top of it. Character notes, character adjustments, making sure, because if the show sucked, if it failed, they would say Zoe Deschanel's show failed.
Yeah.
So so for me, I make sure I wasn't out. We filmed in Vancouver. I wasn't out drinking. I wasn't out partying. I wasn't hanging out. I didn't have an off day because I'm in every scene. I'm in every frame of it. So you have to. I'm more collaborative with the director. I'm having lunch, dinner with the director on the weekend. I'm reading the script over and over again. I'm rewriting. I'm making adjustments. I'm asking the DP, the cinematographer, like what lenses he's using. I'm figuring out, what the camera is doing emotionally. You know what I mean? Like why is the camera moving this slow?
Yeah.
Because if the camera's moving that slow, that means I don't have to be as big. That means they're going for a moment.
Interesting.
These little things.
Very interesting.
When you're the lead, you have to make sure it works. Otherwise, you don't get a second chance at that type of stuff. So, very excited for people to see it. I got a chance to see the first episode, and the show is crazy. So I'm really excited.
I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait. I have one last question for you, because I think we only have 7 minutes before Instagram cuts us off.
Okay.
What would you say are the 3 top things, if you will, that you owe your success to, or the 3 things that you have done that you owe your success to?
Sacrifice, for sure, because it's really easy to go hang out and have fun and kick it. Yeah. I have FOMO all the time, fear of missing out.
Especially in LA.
Yeah.
All the celebrity parties going on.
If you can cut that out just by a small percentage, you'll see a boost. So I'd probably say sacrifice, a ton of research, meaning like just studying actors, studying people. Imitation sometimes can be flattering, but it can also teach you some stuff. You know what I mean? Why does Denzel, like, why does he move his head a certain way when he's doing a thing? Why does he stare so hard? Why does he take so long to die when he gets shot? Like he'll get shot and then sit there and stare at you. My buddy Batch does a joke on that. Like it's such a thing because Batch is just like me. He studies these actors.
Yeah. And
you watch these little nuances, and then you go, well, what are mine? And you start to really dive into who you are and what you're comfortable with as a performer.
Because once you know it, you can make it yours.
Yeah, you can make it yours. You can see all the little tricks that actors do. And you go, oh, so they're intentionally doing those things. I once watched a movie where Jake Gyllenhaal was blinking a lot, and I was like, why is he something in his eye? And then I realized, oh, it's a character choice. Like he's doing a thing. Like that's part of the character that he wants to do. So I find those little quirks and I do those things. And I would probably say there's a number of things that I owe my success to, but one of my probably say is it's not something I did. It's like my mom. You know, my mom's
Your mom.
my mom, because a lot of people don't have encouragement from home. You know,
Yeah.
like you want to be an actor, a model, a singer, a TV personality. You want to do. They look at you, you know, like that's not practical. Like you're never gonna make it. Like my mom was all about it. You know, she
She was
definitely
your biggest
encouraged me.
cheerleader.
100%. It's not even close. Like when I got broke, and my mom, you know, financially, our family wasn't doing great. So when I got broke in LA, my mom like surprised me and went into her savings, you know, and
Wow.
sent me money so I could eat. And I was just like, holy crap, like that. I didn't even know she had any. She like, I didn't even want to take it. I was like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
You know, so I'd probably say
She
I
must be
owe.
so proud.
Oh yeah, yeah. She is. So she's retired now.
Yeah.
You know, she's
She lives in
Chicago.
LA as well.
No, she's in Chicago.
Okay.
She's in Chicago, but
Which
she
is where
comes to
you're
LA
from
every year.
originally.
And, huh?
You're from there originally.
From Chicago originally. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that probably those three things: sacrifice, a ton of research, and that includes class, just studying the craft, and then having a good support system, you know, around you. And mine happened to be my mom.
Wow. The future is even brighter than the present for you, my
Thank you.
friend.
I appreciate
It
you.
was so good. Really, really great chatting with you. So much of this stuff I didn't even know about you, how tough it was when you first moved to LA. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. And also very, very inspiring stuff. So
Oh,
we
thank you.
appreciate it. So
I
lots to
appreciate
look
you.
out for from you. Thank you, thank you. And so much to look out for from you. There's Bloodshot on Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
The new Hulu series Woke that's coming out in August. Your
Yep.
comedy album.
Yes, the Morning After Pill is out right now on all platforms. Make sure you get it. And then I have
Take the
Desperados
pill.
coming out on Netflix. So
Desperado on
yeah,
Netflix.
movie called Desperados coming out on Netflix in about a
Okay.
month maybe, I think, or July 3rd. July 3rd it comes out. Netflix. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Lamorne, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Great to see you. Great to see your face. We'll be
Thank
in
you. You
touch.
too. You
And
take it
thanks for
easy.
doing this. You guys
Of
at
course.
home, thank you for watching. Sorry, what were you saying?
No. I was saying, of course. Anytime you need me, let me know.
Awesome. Thank you. And thanks, guys, for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Bye, everyone. Stay safe. Be good. Stay home. Bye.